What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, checking out a brand new effect monster that just got revealed. This is going to be released as a V-Jump in the OCG. A lot of people thought that this could potentially end up being a hand trap because when you look at the card's name, Blood Blossom from the Afterlife, and when you look at the artwork, it is kind of reminiscent of Ash Blossom in Joyous Springs. People were looking at the whole Blossom thing and then just kind of the way like the card looked, like maybe this is an older version of Ash Blossom in Joyous Springs, but it's actually not related to the Ghost Girl sisters at all, at least not that I can tell, and it's not a hand trap either, but it is still a very interesting card, and I think that it could be very useful in the future. This is a level 1 Dark Fiend monster, 0 attack and 0 defense. It sure has the makeup of a hand trap, doesn't it? The whole no stat line level 1. It says the first and the second effects are both hard once per turn, however you can activate them both in the same turn. The first effect says if this card is in your hand, you can target one spell/trap in each graveyard, banish them, and if you do, special summon this card. Second effect, you contribute this card, then target one fusion, synchro, XYZ, or link in either graveyard, banish it, and if you do, special summon one monster with a different monster card type, fusion, synchro, XYZ, or link from your graveyard. To me, I think that this card could be actually very useful. There are a lot of people, their first kind of reactions to the card were extremely negative, and I just really don't get that. Number one, this card does not need to use your normal summon. You can special summon it from your hand. Now, I do kind of get maybe if you're rolling your eyes and you're saying, well, Cap, you really can't use this card effectively, or at least not consistently if you're going first, and that's definitely true. I don't really know how you're going to get your opponent to get, spells and traps in their graveyard if you're the person going first, unless you're doing some type of cheese with like card destruction or Dark World Dealings or something that forces them to discard their hand. But if you're going second, chances are if you're dueling against anything outside of a Sekka's Light build, they're going to have at least one spell or trap in the graveyard. So I do like the fact that this card can put itself on the field relatively pain-free without using your normal. And then the second effect seems incredibly useful as well. It's basically a monster reborn for any of your extra deck cards, as long as you can banish a different type from either graveyard. And that seems really good, especially considering in the Vrains era, you have so many different archetypes that started out as like one mechanic, then Konami gave them an XYZ monster, all the archetypes from the Link Vrains packs. You also have other archetypes that are like really old school, like Cyber Dragon. They started out fusion based, then they got some XYZ monsters, then they got some Link monsters. So if you're playing a deck like Cyber Dragons, you could hypothetically summon this from like 1-for-1, because it is a 1-for-1 target. You could tribute it, you could banish like, I don't know, a Cyber Dragon Seeger from your graveyard, and you could end up reviving a copy of like Cyber Dragon Nova to go into Infinity, or you can just bring back Infinity, and obviously dropping Infinity is super good in Cyber Dragons. I know that they have Nasher that does that. A lot of Cyber Dragon players run Monster Reborn, but this is just kind of like an extra version of something like that, and I just kind of feel like the more we get decks that are like Salamangreats or Dino Wrestlers or Trickstar, these archetypes that have like fusion, XYZ, and Link monsters, I kind of feel like this card can be really useful. I mean, think about like Pendulum Magicians. Pendulum Magicians can easily summon like XYZ monsters. They're obviously always going to start with Electromite, like every Pendulum deck ever does that. And then they play Synchros and all that good stuff. So I feel like this card can be incredibly useful. I do think that this card gets better as the game goes on, like turns 2, 3. I feel like the card actually gets like significantly better, but I definitely think it is a valuable card, and yeah, people shouldn't be so negative on it because I just don't think that it's warranted. But whatever you guys think of Blood Blossom of the Afterlife, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.